First of all, we looked at that is the syntax for Python, and we looked at the output, and we said that we use the print for the output. Then we said that when you are dealing with strings, you just need a double quote, and you put down whatever you want to display on the screen with that. All right, and after that, you run your program from here. Then the results will just appear from here. And we also look at some basic aspect of Python where you can do the processing stage, and we also looked at the other aspect of Python where you can take in an input from the user. All right. So today we will be dealing more with we'll be doing more with the calculation aspect. We are going to concern ourselves with list. But then before we go on to the list, I want us to take some time and deal more with some data types and data set and simple calculations. Okay. Now, over the time, we said that you can just perform simple calculations by just using print to bracket. You bring out your 2 plus 3, and of course, what is the 3? And of course, is going to display 5 from here. I don't know if you can see my screen from here. 5 will be displayed from here. Okay, so that is 5. So that is going to be 5 from there. So that's what you have been doing, and we've also looked at the other section where we can say that this time around we don't want to perform the operation from here, but then we can just say that print simple something, just this is just a rough something that I want to do. All right, so sorry, I said that number one equal to 10, right? Number 2 equal to 20. And okay, so we define our processing stage. Please kindly hold on. I think there's something. Okay. So back to what I was doing. What you have been doing so far, this is just a recap. So something like this, and we say that result, okay, is equal to num1 plus, okay, num2. All right. So print result. Right. Now, so we have our 30 for there, right? Now, so let's assume, so that's today's topic. Let's assume that I want to create a simple calculator. I've seen all of you, I think. Can you mute your microphone for me? So, please, if you are not talking, kindly mute your microphone for me. Yeah, Daniel, thank you. Okay, so back to what we have learned so far. Now we want to do a follow-up, a build-up. So let's assume that we want to create a simple calculator that can add 2 numbers in Python. Don't forget that everything that we are doing in Python is just a basis. So when we are done with this course, that's where you determine whether you want to go into web development using Python and artificial AI, using Python or any other thing that you want to do. So for instance, I want to create my simple calculator. So I'll just say that this is a Zillion calculator, all right? So that is my calculator. I know because of the hash, it's not going to run, right? So I'll come here and I'll say, let me print, or no, instead of print, let me say x that is going to be my variable, equal to input. We all understand the meaning of input. We are using input because we want the user to feed our program with an information. Input, hello.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Hello, you're welcome. Come up. Then I'll just say enter. Because you know the reason I use a slash and the n to move to a different line. Okay, this time around I'll say that enter. Oh, can't do this in Germany. Enter your first number, space. That's going to be my x. So now I've declared that whatever the user will type is going to be my x. So whatever you type is going to be stored in the x variable, right? I'll say that y should be equal to input kindly enter second number. Right? So we have these two variables. Now, so it's time for me to now do the processing. After getting these variables, at the moment, what we used to do is we just display them, but that shouldn't be so. Now, let's bring another variable that is going to be our z. So now we are saying that z is equal to x plus y. Okay, so z is now equal to x plus y. So that's our processing stage. There's something I want to show you that's going to bring us to the data types that we have. Okay, so now print out that we want to display our answer. Your answer your result is your result is plus, and this time around plus what? We know that we use the plus to add, how do you call it? A variable or the content of a variable in displaying something over there. So that is ways and means. We have dealt it in our previous lesson. You can go in for some of the videos over there and watch. So we are saying plus z. All right. Now let's see what happens to our program. Quickly, I'm running it. So what we are saying is that, hello, you are welcome. The reason why you are seeing that those indentation is because I left a space over here. So right now, if I should just stop it and run the program again, there won't be any space there. So enter your first number. I'm saying that is, let's say 3. Enter your second number, 2. So now your result is 32 instead of 5. So this is where the problem is. Now let me tell you what happens. Because we use the plus, okay, to merge two things together. Now the computer is assuming, or the programming is assuming, that you want to add the content of x to the content of y. I don't know if you guys are following what I'm doing over here. So because of that, it's just going to just merge the two of them together. But that is not our focal point. That is not what we want. So this brings us to something you call the data types or set. Now in our normal mathematics class, we have the integers, we have the float. Okay, when you talk about integers, we are looking at positive and negative whole numbers. So that is the integer. So for instance, what I have to do from here is that I need to define my variables. Okay, what type of data are they? Are they integers? Are they float? When you talk about float, you are looking at decimals. Okay, 0 point something decimals. Okay, so now let's work on integers so that you appreciate what we are doing for now. So I'll just write int. For me to use an integer, integers, we are talking about positive and negative numbers. So int into bracket. Okay, so now whatever is in our bracket, now we are telling the system that it is an integer. So you don't have to see it as a string or something like that. Then we bring our x, which is our variable, and we do the same thing for this one, y. Okay, so now let's run our program and see. So I'm saying that 4, good. Now we are getting an error over here, and this is very, very important. Now let's look at, I know there is a section that we get there and we look at the various types of error, that possible types of error, sorry, that you can get. There are plenty. Now let's look at the error. Typo error can only concatenate, that is it. When we talk about concatenation, we are talking about the plus sign. Okay, merging two things. You can only concatenate str strings. All right. Now let me, in our previous meeting, I spoke about converting a string into, a different state. So what is happening is that because we are having this string over here, can you all see what I'm doing? Because we are having this string over here, it is telling the machine that we don't have just one thing alone, we also have a different thing. So what do I need to do? So I just need to bring my str, which will convert everything that is in the bracket to something different. All right, now let's see. Good. So now it is displaying that your result is 4. Now what happens is, now this str is telling us that we are not dealing with only strings here, but we are also dealing with integers. All right. So now let's go back. Let's still run our program for you to appreciate what I'm doing over here. Now we are telling the machine that everything that we type over there is an integer. So let's assume, what's your number? I'm typing any other thing. Second number. Good. Now, because the first number I just use SDF, which is not a figure. Now the machine is telling us that. All right, you done it. Don't worry. You get a video and you watch it again. I've seen your message. So now the machine is telling us that invalid literal for int. Why? Because when you talk about integers, you are not talking about alphabet. I don't know if you are getting me. When we talk about integers, we are looking at positive and negative whole numbers, not fractions, not decimals. All right. So it is very, very important to always set your data type, the data that you want the user to input. All right. Now let's experiment more. Now we have, hello, you are welcome. Enter your first number, and I'll say that, look, my first number is 23.1. Second number is 4. Now let's look at it. So now we are going to have invalid literal for int with base 10. That is 23.1. What happens is that now the system is telling you that, look, the things that you wrote, you told us that the things that you are bringing is an integer, but now you are bringing in decimals and the rest, fractional things. It doesn't make sense. So in life, and I think this thing also works even in life, you just have to be straightforward with people. You just have to be real with them. You don't have to give them the reasons and the chance to, it's just like a breach of contract. So then so then the question is, what if I want to work with decimals? How do I go about it? What are the ways that you can follow? Okay, so this is what you do. This place, we just say that now it is an integer. Now we are going to change it to float. Float. We are saying that it is not an integer but float. Now let's run our program and let's try. So now we have our program first, and we are saying 3.4. All right. We are saying good. Now because I brought the slash, it is giving us error. So after that, we'll go on to, I intentionally brought a slash for you to see something. So from here, this is just an addition calculator. You go to different calculator. That is maybe addition, multiplication, or the rest. All right, so let me rewind and come again. 0.4. So now we have 46.4. All right, so we can simply do for multiplication also. That is by changing the sign over here to multiplication sign. That is the star. All right, so this is what we are saying. So 4 by 2 will give us 8. Now you are seeing 8.0 because we are saying that it is a float. It is a float which involves a decimal. The moment we change the float to and we are not going to get those things again. We're not going to get these things again. So, okay, 4 by 5 is equal to 20. So now you're not going to get a 0.0 and any other thing. All right, so this is one of the ways that you can experiment with what we have done so far. Okay, and the other time you looked at some of the games that you can even play with your friends, you know. This is the same idea which goes into when you try to play Facebook games and the rest. They pick, you know, randomly they pick some of your friends and display them. And I think our last video we looked at some of the ways to create such videos, which is very, very easy. So let's quickly move on. Let's quickly move on. Okay, so you can also do for division. That is, when you talk about division in programming, you just use this sign, slash sign, then addition, multiplication, and the rest. All right. Please, do you have any question before I moved on? Because today we are supposed to start something. All right, so the next thing that we are going to look at is list. So what are lists? When it, you know, just like what we do every day, we just want to display a set of item, you know. So whenever you hear list, you're talking about majority of the things. You have the ordered list and non-ordered list, that is the groupings and the rest. So in just like in any programming languages, we have ways that will list an item. In Python, one of the ways that, you know, you list an item is by using this bracket sign. You know, this bracket, the square bracket, right? So whatever is inside here is termed as a list. So we are going to look at the reasons why we see this one to be list, and you know, we are going to see how we can even access it, the content of it, and the rest. All right, so let's begin. Now, just like any other thing that we talk about, variables and the rest, a list can also be, you know, can be stored in a variable. For instance, I can say that male to be my list. So you're going to talk about, you know, male. I'm saying that I'm writing Kofi. So we use the comma to separate the items in a list. All right. And I'm saying that I'll have Kwame Faswade. And so I say Nana. All right. Nana, okay. And just like any other ways that we display something, we can just write print, all right, mail to display the content of our list. Now, now we have seen that we have Kofi, Kwame, Ima, Nana, which you know, these things have now become part of the list. Part of the list. So that is one of the basic ways that we display links in Python. All right, but we can do just like any other things that we have looked at. We can do a lot of things with this list. All right, can do a lot of things. But one of the things, let me point out here, I know we'll be looking at arrays and the rest. One of the things that is, I think, is very, very important for us to know is that every list that is being stored is having a number. That is a number. When I talk about a number, what I mean is the storage space. For instance, let's go back to our class. In our various classes that we have in our various schools, you get to find out that everybody, so you can say that this is a row one. Within row one, we have about 3 or 4 peoples or something like that. In the same way, this list that we have over here is having, you know, various sections that we can store numbers. All right. So to the computer, and don't forget that in programming, whenever you hear list or arrays or, you know, a space, we are saying that the first page that that particular thing occupy, you know, it starts from 0. That's going to be the index. So I just want you to get the understanding. So the computer, now this programming sees Kofi to be at a position 0 and sees Kwame to be in a position 1. C Ima to be in a position 2, and C Nana to be in a position 3. Now, what does this thing got to do with what we are doing? Now, it means that for you to have access to a particular item, sometimes you can bypass the location that that particular item is and have access to it. So let's do a live scenario over here. So let's say I don't want to display the content of my list, all of them. I just need a particular data. So what I'll do is mail. I'm using mail because mail is the variable for our list. Then I'll bring my square bracket. Now, this place, I will specify the location, okay? So let me say location 0, and let me run the program. Now, the program now displays Kofi. The program displays Kofi because Kofi is now stored in location 0. Now, let's see location 1, what happens over there? We are seeing Kwame over there. But then to us human, we start counting back from 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, but to the computer, it's not like that. Always it starts from 0. Always the thing starts from 0. So put it at the back of your mind. This is very, very important when you start with arrays. In the near future, I'll be looking at arrays. When you start with arrays, you get to find out that all these things comes into play from here. So if I want to have an access to Nana, I need to specify 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. And also I need to specify 3 from here. Now quickly, I can just progress. And now I'm seeing Nana from here. All right. Now, somebody can also ask, so what about negative values? Okay, so now let's try negative values and see how it works. So I'm saying -1. Let's see what is going to be displayed by our program. So we are seeing that now to be -1. What does that mean? It means that when you are counting from the back, you don't have to count from 0, but then it has to start with our normal 1, 2, 3, but then you need to negate it. So negative will now be the opposite side of counting from the beginning. So that is it for the list. It's important for us to understand this part, because when you get to arrays, and of course we use this thing a lot. For instance, if you are logging into your database, trying to log in your password and the rest, arrays are very important, and some of these concept comes into play with that. All right. So what if we can do a lot of things with what we have over here? One of the things we can do is we can specify the range. Don't forget that if we remove this and we say print more, it displays everything that we have in our list. But then what if we just want to specify a range of it? All right, a range of it. When you talk about range, you are looking at a particular section. So we can say that, and we can say that let's start from here to here. So let's bring our range. So we say 1-ish to now. What this does is, now it will start from the data with the index 1, because I just wrote 1. So you see that the Kofi was excluded in our program. So you say 1 to where? Because I didn't bring any other figure over there. It sees that to infinity. Even if they were 100 here, if our list were 100, let me add some names, powerful names to it. Let me say for power. All right, for power. So let me run the program again. See that automatically for power will be added to our list. But the moment, so now let me say now, so to specify the range, you just need that bracket, and you just need, first of all, the starting point and the ending point. So the starting point, let me assume that my starting point is going to be 2, and I'm not going to bring any ending point. I'm just going to be this thing. So now we have from Hima is our number 2, then to power. All right. Okay. So okay. So let's assume that we want to specify We want to specify from, let's say, this point to this point. So let's specify like from 1 to, let's say, 3. Let's see what happens to our program. Now, this time around, look at it. So we 0, 1. 1 is Kwame. 2 Yuma. 3 is Anana. So what happens is, in between from 1 to 3 is what has been displayed to us. The moment I change this 1 to 4 and I run the program, you see that now we have our Kwame, we have Ima, we have Nana, these 3 people, but we just let go of the other, that is what for power, the other one. So that is, that is the range for you. That is the range for you. So we can use this aspect to specify the various range that we have. Okay. So quickly, let's end the list function by list part by going to functions. Functions are very, very important. Functions are very, very important. Functions are very, very important. So another point is, so what if now this is the main, I know our next lesson you are going to go into tuples or whatever the way you pronounce it. This is the main difference between a tuple and a list. A list can be changed at any time. For instance, I can say that male, all right, and I'm saying that male, the space for 1 should now be changed to foolish boy, and I'll just run the program. Now let's see something which happens to our program. Now, we all know that in the initial list, 0 is the Kofi is at the 0 point and Kwame is supposed to be at the section 1. But because we have changed the index of it, all right, the index of it, of the 1 to the foolish boy, now when you print it, it's not going to move back to the old thing again, but it's going to print out the new one. And this is the main difference between a tuple and a list. That is going to be our next video or our next class. We are going to look into when we talk about tuple, what it means when you're talking about tuples, what goes into that. But the fact is, list can be changed at any time, just like variables. We have looked at it this thing before. So I can change, dependent on the index of it, I can change the contents of the data at any time. For instance, okay, so let me rub this in. Now let me go back to 3, and I'm saying that, look, now the content of 3 should be changed to Bootcamp. So now we have in the normal circumstance, Kofi, Kwame, so 0, 1, 2, 3 should be Nana, but Nana has now been changed to Bootcamp, which is very, very important. That is very, very important. It's something I think we have to know for now. So put it at the back of your mind that list can be changed. So quickly, let's go through various functions that we can use. And I've explained it in various, I think some of the videos that there are so many functions that you can use in various topics in Python. So let's look at some basic functions that we are going to look at. So one of them is extend. Okay. So for instance, if I have male, and let's say I have female to be our different list. So I'm saying Ama. Those of you who Ama is a name of that a name that we give to female in Ghana here, and so Gloria. That we have Abi. So then we have which name again? Sandra. All right. So now we can just print male, and we can beneath that, or just bring your plus. Okay. Let's say female. Okay. So we can just do something like this. So it works. We have our father, and we just added the other one, so you can just use the plus for that. But another thing that we can also use, another function which works a lot, that we can also use for adding two or more lists together, is by using the extend function. So let's look at how it works. All right, let's look at how it works. So first of all, for you to extend a function, so mail, we want to extend mail dot extend. What do you want to extend? That the name of the variable that you want to extend. So that is it. So you want to add whenever the content of male. So then we want to add the content of a female to the male. So this time around, I'll say print male. Don't forget that it's not going to display male. Now it's going to display both the male and the female. Why? Because we are using the extend function. And don't forget that I didn't say print female. Now you see that print female is not going to display the content of the male, it just display only the female. The problem is that because the extend was used for only male. All right. So if I should change this place to female and extend, and we are saying that this place should be male, then print female, is supposed to be, is going to add the male section also to that. That is the extent. Okay, quickly, let's move to the second function. In fact, we have a lot right from this video. Go online, check for various function for list. You get so many. All right. Now, so we just added two lists. Okay. Now, what if we just want to add individual items to a list, in a particular list? Okay, then that is where we use the append. So we are saying that, for instance, female dot append. What happens is, what do you want to add to female list? I want to add Ghana. So the moment I run print female, now we have Ama, Gloria, Abi, Sandra, which of course we all have it there. But then we have that pen Ghana here. So it has been added to the back of it. And this is something that you have to take notice of. Whenever you use the append and you don't specify the particular the index of it, it's going to be added to the back section. And that is how this append. So we have looked at extend and the append. Okay, so what if we want to insert? So the append is for adding a particular thing at the back of your at the back of your list. So what if you want to specify the particular point that you want to insert it? So that's where the dot insert comes in. So insert allows you So now we need to specify, one, the index of it, and two, the content of it. That is where the dot insert comes in. So I'm going to say that now. I just want us to try one. That is the first location, and this time around, I just want to add Togo to go. All right, now let's display our wait. Now look at something which happens. So 0, Amma is at the index 0 and Gloria is at index 1. But look at it. Now we have, because we specify the index of it, so in place of Gloria we have to go. And Gloria has been pushed to different index. So now we have Amma to be 0, Togo to be 1, Gloria to be 2. So that's how the index works. Okay, so today we will end over here. Put down your questions, below, or even in the group. I'll get back to you. All right, stay safe.